decline that we have experienced over the period. Look at the number of people who have committed atrocities against the state, people who have stolen from the state, all under the guise of democracy.
Yeah.
People who are given power and they operate more, autocratic leadership more than democratic leadership. People who have been given power and they engage in all manner of, things which are at complete variance with the tenets of the Western democracy, right?
I'm happy you are raising these issues.
Yes, and yet somehow we have come to understand that this is democracy, and so even though the person is sitting on our necks, we must accept it and wait and vote them out, the next 4 years. I'm simply bringing this into the conversation for us to broaden the scope.
Yes.
Look at the various components which come together to make, to make up the democracy that we are talking about, and whether we have really, as Africans, benefited from this Western definition of democracy. And I'm saying Western because this is not something that is born out of our own cultural underpinnings. It is something that was imposed on us by the West.
Thank you for that, Kwame. I think you've opened up the discussion. And then what you talk about, the democracy hasn't helped us. I mean, democracy, we cannot say that what we have is the Western democracy. We, like I said, the source of the problem. For example, democracy is main foundation is checks and balances. Okay, required. We wouldn't have had this problem. For example, and I'm sure we are going to engage in that discussion. What the president did yesterday. What the president did yesterday. Okay, our constitution at the moment does not protect or prevent the public officers from engaging in self-interest. Okay, we have chapter 24 of the Constitution that is supposed to cater for that. That is the least developed section of our Constitution. Up to now, we were going to have conduct of public officers bill that should have been enacted. The previous president promised. It wasn't enacted. And that one would have addressed a lot of...
Why are we looking to review our constitution? Why are we looking to review our constitution? Because the constitution is an imperfect creation by our own people and built on the stills of the exigencies of the time. Now, where we are, the constitution, in the estimation of many, including myself, has outlived its usefulness. And therefore, it is not in tune with the current circumstances that we are, of the current times in which we find ourselves. So that is the kind of picture that I'm painting. That perhaps we ought to rethink and relook at things.
Kwame,
yes, sir.
You see, you've answered your own question. Why did it take 32 years to review the Constitution? The Constitution should be dynamic. It should change with time to the aspirations of the people. Why should such a Constitution that we are all saying was for one person? Why should it outlive even the person? And now for 32 years, after 32 years, that's when we are reviewing the Constitution. If we had reviewed the Constitution over time, you wouldn't be saying what you're saying now, the failures of democracy. Because those problems would have been solved. And as I said, what the president is about now, is providing solutions to most of the problems. Even Nkrumah talked about conflict of interest. In the 60s. Buzia, whoever came to power, talked about the fact that we've been hijacked by conflict of interest, self-interest of the public officials. Nothing has been done so far? Nothing. And as I said, if you look at the chapter 24 of the Constitution, it could be the least developed part of our Constitution.
Do you think we need a constitution that will allow for a leader to be in power for maybe 6 years, 2 terms? Should we think about extending the 4-year mandate? Because let's be truthful to ourselves, right? Somebody comes into office and the person literally has 2 years to govern.
Yes.
Technically, it's not supposed to be so. But realistically, the person has only 2 years.
Yeah.
All right? Now, what can you do in 2 years to turn around the fortunes of a country? What really can you do? What can you bring to the table in 2 years? So don't you think that if we want this democracy thing to work, we must all agree that the 4-year term is insufficient for any right-thinking leader or forward-looking leader to come into office and deliver on its promises? Because look, and it's so sad that I don't know whether we don't have the benefit of the benefit of knowing that we only have 4 years, because the promises that we make outlive the 4 years that we are asking for. All right? And why do they do that? Because they have this presumption, albeit erroneous, judging from the way John Dramani Mahama lost in 2016, that it is not a continuous process. You cannot have a system where automatically you're gonna get a second term, right? And so you cannot plan for 8 years within 4 years. I don't know if you get my point.
Yes, I get your point.
So why don't we perhaps even begin to look at it? Because you see, all of these things are not working because we have, if you like, taking on a system which only allows us to govern our people within 4 years, but is not allowing us to operate in such a manner that will allow for us to bring real development to the people. So we are just boxed within this, 4-year system, and we are unable to deliver within the same period. So maybe we must look beyond the peripheries of the 4 years and have conversations about expanding it to maybe 6 or even 8 years. 2 terms, 8 years, 16 years, you come, you bounce, you go, another person comes. Then there will also be, some conditions which will trigger the citizenry to call for an impeachment in the event that within that period the president is not delivering on his mandate.
You're answering your own questions. Thank you for raising this as well. 4 years, re-electable for another 4 years. Okay, that can be argued to be good for our situation. Certain countries have reviewed their constitution for 5 years. Cote d'Ivoire, for example, 5 years, and also 2 terms, that would be 10 years. So this is based on the fact that if you come and you do well after your 4 years, you can easily be re-elected, because you have to render your accounts to the people, and the people will re-elect you. So you may have 8 years to carry out your policies. But then if you go for a longer term, as you said, you are going to look at the impeachment. Currently, I was looking at the removal of the 3 arms of government. It's looking at the president, the speaker, and the chief justice. The president, it may take about 1/3 of the parliament. Okay, members of parliament to even initiate the action. And that going through the impeachment process is quite arduous. For the speaker, 3/4 of the members of parliament. But if you look at the chief justice, that one throws everything out of balance, because they are supposed to have balance of power. But when it comes to our constitution, it's lopsided. Currently, the executive wields all the power.
Yeah.
Okay, especially if the executive can also control the legislature, which we have now,
Right.
with a lot of ministers coming from the legislature. So now, if the executive can appoint and remove the judiciary, then it answers your question of the failure of democracy, because we don't have the checks and balances. Okay, so now, if the executive can remove the chief justice, whoever comes in will dance to the tune of the executive, because a human being, we know our limits, that whatever I do against the executive, there could be a petition coming, and the petition, you may not know how the petition was initiated. So we have to be a bit careful when we are condemning democracy. It's our constitution that is giving us the limitations of democracy at the moment. Certain African countries have practiced democracy, and they've really reaped the benefits. It's up to us to ensure that we overhaul whatever we have and eradicate all the loopholes, and then maximize the benefits from democracy. So it will be so quick to condemn democracy, because, like I said, I grew through the period of coup d'etat, and since '92 also I've lived through a democracy.
Right.
And there's no way I would trade democracy for coup d'etat.
All right, you're still watching the News Private segment here on Pan-African Television with me, Kwame Osudan. So be kind enough to share your views with us here on the show, and I'll read it. Yesterday, something happened.
Yes.
Some people said they wanted to demonstrate, and they were allowed to demonstrate.
Yes.
And they hashtagged it, Save the Judiciary. First of all, what are your impressions about the demonstration? And then we'll go into the nitty-gritties of it.
Okay. Thank you, Kwame. So, as we've been talking about democracy, everybody has a right to demonstrate. And then the state has to allow that demonstration. But then as to the reason for the protest, it's always arguable. Okay, so now they were protesting against the suspension of the Chief Justice. Okay, so now, are they pleading with the president or asking the president to disregard the dictates or the provisions of the Constitution? So that is what is questionable. So now, what is the objective of the demonstration? Right. Perhaps they want the people to know what is going on, because the process of the removal seems to be a bit what will I say, secret, shrouded in secrecy. For example, at the moment, we don't know how the prima facie was established. And this is where we have to publicize the process. And as I said, most countries now, that process goes through parliament with debates, so that the people will be aware.
The Constitution does not require that we know what is contained in the petitions.
And that is a failure.
And it is deliberate, because, some of the things may contain some things that may not necessarily, or must not be in the public domain because of image, because of reputation. You get the point?
No, but they eventually come out. And this case, the petitions have come out. And as I said, in certain jurisdictions, this impeachment process is based on address in Parliament, where it is debated. So the public would have to know. So keeping everything from the public, you are not helping, because the public, at the end of the day, the public is supposed to hold the executive accountable. And if the public is denied of the information, how does that come about? And so we've gone past the situation where the citizen is treated like a child and the executive a father all the time. We have to ensure that the citizen is empowered with information. And that's the only way we can have the democracy
until the Constitution is reviewed.
About.
Until the Constitution is reviewed, we may not be able to achieve what you are saying.
Yes, I mean, we may not be able to achieve, and that's why I'm happy that we are reviewing the Constitution. And these happenings also are coincident with what is with the constitutional review. So,
is the judiciary dying? For which reason needs saving?
I wouldn't say so. I would rather agree with the former Chief Justice, who has exposed the weakness in the judiciary, as I've just argued.
Oh, Chief Justice.
No,
okay.
Madam Akufo. She just said that I think the Constitution is unfair to the judiciary, as I've just elaborated. If you look at how we remove a president, how we remove the speaker, they all go through Parliament. But then when it comes to the judiciary, what is the process? What is the procedure? Does it measure up to the two? But they are all supposed to hold balance of power. So, I mean, there should be some equilibrium. You are not saying that the Chief Justice should have the same power as the executive. But they are supposed to be independent and at the same time work interdependently. So if one can easily remove the other, then we are losing the checks and balances, because the judiciary should be able to check the legislature.
But if you have a judiciary that perceptibly is very political,
yes,
and gravitates towards one political party, to the extent of that gravitation, don't you think that it stands to reason that if you are a president and you want to get things done, some way, somehow, something ought to happen so that you can be able to fully execute the things? Because bear in mind that one of the things which, in my humble opinion, brought the NDC back into office, is the promise that they made to the good people of Ghana that they were going to recover all the loot.
Yes.
And how do you recover all the loot? I mean, look, if you look at the people who are even defending the Chief Justice and persons who went to court in support of the Chief Justice, they are all MPP people, right? Why is it that we've not seen civil society organization, we've not seen anybody from NDC in support of the Chief Justice, but you have MPP people supporting the Chief Justice and even organizing demonstrations in favor of the Chief Justice? Now, don't you think that perceptibly you are creating the impression that because she was appointed by Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, she is an appendage of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and therefore, when Akufo-Addo was president of Ghana, did things in favor of the president, and therefore must be protected at all costs by persons who are in the NPP?
Thank you, Kwame. So that is why we are arguing for the review of the Constitution, so that the appointment and removal process should be made more transparent. At the moment, you have the president appointing the Chief Justice based on advice of the Council of State. That system is outdated. As I said, now, if you want the Chief Justice, the reason why we have that misbehavior thing is somebody beyond reproach. And that person, through the appointment process, would have gone through Parliament and everybody contributing. to the character or the behavior of the person. So by the time the person comes through the mail, you have the best person beyond reproach to occupy the position, who cannot be influenced.
Let's be very honest.
By the person who appointed him or her.
Let's be very honest, and I don't want us to be hypocritical. By the way, Honorable, good morning to you. Honorable Abdulaziz, MP from Myong, former MP from Myong, good morning to you.
Good morning, Kwame.
I trust you well.
Good morning, Sir Chief. Good morning, and good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Let me just wrap up with Doc, and then I'll come to you, Honorable.
That's fine.
So, and I want us to be very candid and open with ourselves. Very frank, brutally frank and honest, right?
Yes.
Now, you have intelligent, and I'm not saying the judges who are there are not intelligent.
Yeah.
We have intelligent, experienced persons who are judges.
Yeah.
Who were not promoted under Nana Akufo-Addo. Very intelligent, very brutally intelligent, brutally patriotic, and their moral turpitude is high. Those people were never, their juniors were promoted ahead of them straight to the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah.
Now, you have somebody like Justice Dennis, who taught me interpretation at the law school.
The son is even among 4, I don't know.
Yeah, he's among 4.
Yeah.
You know, if you look at his repertoire, his wealth of experience and knowledge in the law, he's written several books.
Yeah.
Very intelligent, to the point where sometimes when some of the judges, the junior judges, are writing their decisions, they go to him for advice.
Yeah.
He has protégé judges who are in the court of appeal with him.
Yeah.
This one. Then you come to Justice Jamefe. Justice Jamefe's only crime was that he chaired the commission that looked into the World Cup saga, the Jamefe committee.
Yeah.
That was his only crime, and he was tagged his NDC.
Yeah.
And they promoted juniors ahead of these wonderful judges, and I know them personally. Look, anybody who has been to Makola will tell you, Sir Dennis is very, it's an institution when it comes to the law.
Yeah.
And we have this fine brains not contributing to, justice delivery because of politics.
Yeah.
Now, the president is not interested in whether, say, Justice Dennis is NDC or MPP. The president is not interested.
Yeah.
The president is not interested in Justice Jamefe. The president is interested in the fountain of knowledge that they have that will contribute significantly to the development of our justice delivery.
Yeah.
What crime, again, has the president committed?
Okay, good.
If we need to sanitize the system.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So I would say that we could be fortunate that you've reached the conclusion, or you've had this observation on what the president has done. But then my argument is that currently our constitution relies on the benevolence of the president, because the appointment of the Chief Justice, most jurisdictions have what they call the judicial appointment commissions that will do that, and it will go through Parliament. Whoever are nominated will go through Parliament. Everybody will know that we have the best person for the job. Currently, it's just being done by a president who should be benevolent. Otherwise, we'll have the situation, as you are saying, where certain people are leapfrogged and without the requisite knowledge and experience. And so it can be easily concluded that they are MPP or NDC, which doesn't augur well for the governance of the country. So we need to try and move away from that and take the appointment and removal of the Chief Justice from the presidency or the executive and make it more transparent and more effective to ensure that there's meritocracy. And that is the only way we can improve our democracy.
Very well. Honorable, I'm coming to you very shortly, but let me just read this message from the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, and they are wishing the Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim a happy birthday. Today is his birthday. Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim, Minister of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, the Chief Director's staff, and the entire Public Relations Unit have come together today to say happy birthday to you, Honorable Minister Ahmed Ibrahim. On this day, we celebrate your life, your leadership, and your legacy in motion. Your humility, vision, and tireless service to Ghana remind us daily of what true leadership looks like. May this day bring you joy, peace, and renewed strength for the journey ahead. We are proud to serve under your guidance. God bless you, Honorable Minister. This is a birthday message from the staff at the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs to the Sector Minister, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. Okay, now that we've gotten that out of the way, Honorable, let me come to you respectfully. Yesterday you saw, I don't know whether it was a mammoth, but you saw some people claiming that they were demonstrating to save the judiciary. I don't know whether the judiciary was dying, or the judiciary is dead, or the judiciary is in a state of comatose, for which reason we need resuscitation. But the right to demonstrate is enshrined in the Constitution and must be jealously protected and guarded. I like the conduct of the police yesterday, but I don't know what your general impressions would be relative to the demonstration. And then we get into the nitty-gritties of the demonstrations and the petition that they presented to the office of the president.
Kwame, good morning to you, and good morning to you, sir, and good morning to our viewers out there. Happy birthday to leader Ahmed, now Minister for Local Government. Happy birthday to him. Kwame, this matter has been running for months, if not weeks now. It's been running for a very long time now. Like you indicated, I mean, the Constitution guarantees every Ghanaian the right of association, the right of assembly, and the right to protest. And so, to that extent, you can't fault them for what they did. They were only exercising their constitutional right. I would first of all want to commend the Ghana Police Service for the professional manner that they handled the demonstrators. I saw a video where one gentleman was provoking the Ghana Police Service and telling them that they can't do anything to him, even though he was at the wrong side of the law. I commend the Ghana Police, and that tells you that yes, there's a real reset ongoing. You remember somewhere last week or so, is it Akatechi Afrifa, that journalist, a broadcaster, also had done some demonstration, and there was some attempt by the Ghana Police to stop them. They took the Attorney General to go to court to say, look, we'll draw whatever case you have against them relative to that demonstration, and let them have their demonstration. And so there's a new aura, there's a new dawn of freedom and good governance that we are seeing today. Yesterday they were at the Flagstaff House. You know of our recent past that area had been designated as a security zone, a no-go area for demonstrators. Yesterday they were there. They went to the Flagstaff House to present their petition. There was no any attempt to stop them or to fight them or to refer to that place as a security zone. Right. And so it tells you that when President Mahama talks about reset, yes, we are resetting every aspect of our national lives, but the most important one is to reset our governance architecture. Right. Once you reset that, it affects almost every aspect of your life. And so I commend the Ghana Police and I commend government for being that tolerant. I heard the minority leader, Honorable Asonyo Markin, talking about weed avoiding the retaliatory politicking. And he had a very good response from the Deputy Chief of Staff that, well, to talk about retaliatory politics means that something went wrong yesterday and you don't want us to retaliate. And President Mahama is not that vindictive politician. His demeanor, his person, in fact, even our friends in NPP on a quiet will tell you about the persona of President Mahama, the demeanor of President Mahama, this conduct, that's not in doubt. And so let's assure not just the NPP, but all political parties, civil society organizations, including even the international community, that there's a new leader in town, there's a new dawn. President Mahama is a consummate politician, consummate Democrat, who will do everything to entrench democracy in this country. To the issue that they were demonstrating about the removal of the Chief Justice, saving the judiciary, why do you want to cry more than the bereaved? Why are we not hearing complaints, protestations from the judiciary or the Chief Justice, but from the NPP? And so what they are doing is only confirming what the suspicion has been all along. I don't understand why the minority and the NPP have taken it upon themselves to become the spokespersons for the Chief Justice. In fact, their conduct is virtually making the embattled Chief Justice look like a pseudo national women's organizer of the NPP. She's not your women's organizer. She's not. In fact, to our knowledge as NDC, to our knowledge, she's not a card-bearing member of the NPP. But their conduct is telling us something different. Their conduct is telling us something different. And I don't know. You see, my worry is that our colleagues in the NPP, they are failing to understand that the presidency of President Mahama, this NDC government, is not the usual NDC that they know. President Mahama has come back with experience. He has seen a lot. In fact, I've always said that we in the NDC would normally govern as if we were squatters in this country, and that our colleagues in the NPP are better Ghanaians than we are. And sometimes some of us who are true party members get pained that look, under President Kufuor, we had some members of the actual members of President Rawlings prosecuted in jail. President Mahama comes with all the corruption allegations. Not even a foul was actually jailed. Yeah. You know, Father for All thing came in, and that angered most of our party base. Akufo-Addo comes back, and he was on that tangent too. To the extent that see what they were doing just to convict Atufosin and Jekpa. See what and so sometimes you are pained and you go like, let's bite these guys too. Let them also have a feel of the bite. If not that, look, they will do worse things when they come back, probably in some 30-40 years to come. Now back to the main issues again. Why President Mahama swore an oath of secrecy and presidency? Yep. He did. And he swore that if he ever violates the constitution, he will suffer the penalty that goes with it. Oh, yeah. The penalty that goes with he violating the constitution includes he being impeached. Yeah. So why is our colleagues in the NPP encouraging and calling on President Mahama to go ahead and violate the constitution? Why? Why are they so lawless that they are encouraging and pushing President Mahama to violate the constitution? That's what they are doing. The constitution is not written in Swahili. In fact, we are not lawyers. You are a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know about you. But the constitution is not written in Swahili. It is written in English. We all can read and understand at least the letter of the constitution. The spirit of the constitution is what we cannot speak to. And not even lawyers can speak to that. Yeah. That is in the bosom of the bench, of the judges. Now, the constitution has made provisions for the removal of the president. Presidents can be removed. In fact, President Mahama can be impeached. It is provided for. The framers of the constitution contemplated that and provided for saying the Speaker of Parliament can be removed. Yeah. The constitution contemplated that and provided for that. true or false? That same constitution contemplated and provided for the removal of the Chief Justice and any other officer of the courts.
Right.
And so what's the problem? What are we talking about here? When they say let's save our judiciary, it's a sacred institution, we should protect it. Then let's go and amend that portion of the constitution. To the extent that it remains in our constitution, we can only activate it when necessary. Absolutely. And that's what President Mahama is doing. You talked about, in fact, the former Chief Justice, Sophia Akufu, talked about how loose the process is and that it's unfair to the judiciary. Whilst agreeing with her, we must also look at how these people come into office. Members of Parliament, the Speaker of Parliament are elected for. They have the direct mandate of the people. And so you can't just remove them through some of these procedures. Right? You can't remove them. The President has a direct mandate of the people. So you cannot equate the removal process of the President to the removal of the Chief Justice. In fact, the Chief Justice, yes, is heading an organ of the state, an organ of a government. But it is still true that he is appointed by the President.
And honorable, that could be the weakness.
Exactly. But you see, whilst agreeing that these three arms of government are equal, we must also recognize that it is the elected President who appoints the Chief Justice, subject to parliamentary approval. And so all that we are saying is that, look, we have dared our colleagues in the NPP. They have very good lawyers amongst them. To point to just one breach of the Constitution, just one provision of the Constitution that President Mahama has violated. That they have not been able to do. That they have not been able to do. What are the matters here that some individuals petition the President against the removal of the Chief Justice? And that is embedded in the Constitution. The President is required by law. In fact, the operational term there is shall. You let's say shall means mandatory.
Right.
Submit same to the Council of State. Right? So what wrong has he done? The Council of State went through the petition and established that the Chief Justice has some case to answer and communicated same to President. The same Constitution says that put up a committee of 5 to look at it. That has been done. The same Constitution says that the President has the right to suspend her by signing a warrant, which he has done. So what is the beef of our colleagues in the NPP? They should just point to just one breach of law that they have not been able to do. Now, even the Ghana Bar Association, and Kwame, some of you, that is, look, like or hate the NPP, sometimes we don't test the law. I'm told we have about 5,000 lawyers in this country. How can 47 of them go to pass a resolution to represent the position and the view of 5,000 lawyers in this country? How can that be? What level of disrespect and contradictions are we seeing that the judiciary issues, the Ghana Bar Association issues a statement asking all of us to be mindful about our commentary on the matter, and that the matter is our comments could be prejudicial.
The matter is
sub judice. For that's the legal word I wanted. Sub judice. And they caution all of us to refrain from commenting on the matter. And they themselves, in their letter, their initial release, indicated that President Mahama was going through the due process of the law and that he had not breached any law. Then just a week or two later, we heard all the baseless arguments canvassed by the former Deputy Attorney General, making reference to Article 296. The former Deputy Attorney General.
296C.
Making reference to 296. Now drawing in issues of discretion. And now basing on that to argue that President Mahama should have issued some CI, some regulations before embarking on what he's doing. Oh, why? Did Akufo-Addo do that relative to Eshawtose? When the 3 appeals court judges were removed, did that happen? Were there regulations? And so you know that it was just the NPP that pushed the GBA to do what they did. The GBA, in fact, it is the wish of every young person, in fact, most young people in this country, to become lawyers.
Yes.
You have an association of lawyers that have turned themselves into subjects of ridicule and mockery. That you allow just one young lady, because she was once the deputy minister for justice and attorney general, to subject you to this public ridicule.
Kwame is a member. Kwame.
I'm surprised.
Do you have quorum?
That you cannot activate. You cannot activate the process.
We have about 5,000.
Look,
And you have quorum.
We have about 5,000.
No, I mean for your resolution, do you require quorum?
We were told that when they met, there were 200, and by the time they took the vote, they were left with only 47.
Yes. So 47 out of 5,000 will not be a quorum.
The leader of the bar is the Minister for Justice. He wasn't even aware. And so I am worried. In fact, just recently when as recent as when Akufo-Addo was removing Eshawtose, when we said why, we told the president Akufo-Addo was only a conveyor belt, and that he had no option than to have forwarded the petition to the then Chief Justice. So if Akufo-Addo was only a conveyor belt, what makes President Mahama not a conveyor belt? What makes President Mahama not a conveyor belt? And that argument of discretion is moot. I have heard lawyers give a plethora of judgments, Supreme Court rulings, that renders that argument moot. But I am not a lawyer, so I don't even go to you referring to judges that bar. I mean, I hear someone. Look, public servants exercise discretion every day. Yesterday in the office, I exercised a lot of discretion. In fact, when you go to office today as a public servant, and it is 12 o'clock, time for lunch, you exercise the discretion to go out for lunch or to sit down and work.
Yes. Oh no, but maybe I'll just try it.
Yes.
Because you see, the whole process is based on discretion, and that's why, in order to prevent the abuse of power and discretion, and that's what the president has just done, the code of conduct. There should be the code of conduct to manage the discretion. Otherwise, public office holders' position is just mainly discretion, as you are saying.
Exactly.
Mainly discretion.
Exactly.
So we need to have the
when the law is very clear about something.
Yes.
This law is very clear. When you read Article 146.
But I mean, this thing about discretion, the exercise of it, yes, is within the purview of the president.
Yes.
But even in Article 146.10, I think 10A,
yes,
the exercise of it is even still checked by the Constitution itself. Because you see, 146.10 says that if the president intends to suspend the Chief Justice after a prima facie
has been established against him or her,
the president must still consult the Council of State.
Exactly.
And may.
Yes.
So you see,
they are looking for a brand to hold on to.
They
are looking for something to hold on to.
No, I would rather say they are pleading. They are pleading with the president.
No, how can you plead with the law?
That's what I'm saying.
Are they pleading with the president to violate the Constitution?
That's what the current situation.
So I'm saying, are they pleading with the president? To defy the Constitution? And should we encourage that to happen?
No.
No. Public servants exercise discretion every day. In fact, yesterday I undertook a lot of activities at my place of work. Those were discretions. I could have said, okay, I'll come and do them the next day. Those are discretions. And so that matter is moot. Look, the Chief Justice would, I'm sure by now she's appearing. I'm sure she's made some appearances before the committee. The report will come, and our colleagues in the NPP are speaking as if some guilt has been established and that she's been sacked. She's only been suspended.
Yeah.
They've only established prima facie case against her. And so I am beginning to think that our colleagues in the NPP, they are pretty sure that she can survive and that.
And are you sure?
I don't know yet.
Okay.
Maybe they are sure because of what they have done in the
I
past.
don't know yet. I haven't seen a petition. I haven't seen her responses. I don't know what she would appear before the committee to say. But our colleagues in the NPP are pretty sure that she's gone already. What is it that they know that we don't know?
Maybe that's what
beyond what is in the public domain of she using state resources to cater for the husband and the daughter, which is very, very wrong and violates their travel policy. Is it the case that they know of some other things that we don't know? But whatever the report would be and whatever action President Mahama would take, I would go by it because that would be in tandem with law and due process.
I'm told yesterday that Fenimaki slapped somebody.
Yes, I'm also told that,
coming to that?
there was he assaulted a constable officer, and the police have written to the Speaker of Parliament
to
release him.
They invited him.
They've written to the Speaker of Parliament to release him to come answer some questions.
Oh,
and
that would be nice.
I've heard Mustafa, the youth organizer, claim that if President Mahama goes ahead to sack a Tokono, they will make this country ungovernable.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yes.
No, those are threats, hollow threats.
And when you threaten our national security, you must be picked. You must be picked. You must answer questions to say that you will make this country ungovernable. How will you do that? We don't know. And so, to our colleagues in the NPP, President Mahama has not breached any law. If you are aware of him violating any law, you are at liberty to go to court and challenge that. But as we know, nothing of that sort has happened. This is not the first time that a constitutionally insulated officer is being removed. It happened to Shelatose. And yesterday, in fact, this morning I heard one of their MPs say that if we were removing the electoral commissioner, they wouldn't have a problem because they did that earlier. But their problem is the judiciary. And they say, oh, we are removing the Chief Justice because we want to remove the EC chair. Look, even if it means removing a MPP national chairman to the due process, we will do. And so they can cry all their tears out. That will not save them. They are not better Ghanaians than we are. We are all Ghanaians with equal rights. The mandate of President Mahama, the mandate that President Mahama wields is not a diluted one. It's not substantial. Yes, it's not subsidiary to what Akufo-Addo had. And so we'll take her through the due process. And if she is found to have done something very wrong, she's going to be dismissed. That one day will state it without any fear of a contradiction.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Let me go for one quick commercial break. When I come back, I'll read some messages and then we'll look at the last story. Stay with us. I'll be right back.
It's also a little bit of a cliche. I mean, we're all used to the James Bond scene, as it were, with all the ambassadors sipping champagne and seeming to do nothing else but dine and sip champagne at receptions. That is not true. That is a misconception of the time and the nature of the work.
Diplomacy is not devoid of accountability.
Everything that matters in Africa matters to Europe as well. Be it demography, be it economy, be it security, be it culture.
Can somebody tell me me where Ghana is found in Africa? Is it west? Is it south? Is it north? Is it east Africa? Which one? Any idea? Any idea?
It's like on the west.
It's like, this is what? I don't get.
To the south. No, it's to the west. It's to the west.
Okay. South American ambassadors represented.
I'm transforming the UN and making the UN more fit for business for Ghana is the prime objective that I have here.
You are one outstanding journalist, broadcast journalist, who has put diplomatic tourism and, diplomatic relations under one spotlight.
I have been watching diplomatic affairs, and I've waited unabatedly for my opportunity to come here, as I watched my colleague, the EU, last week.
This is Diplomatic Affairs. My name is Harriet Nati.
Break. Let me read a few messages and then we will proceed. What Afenyomakin did yesterday was deliberately to cause war between the security and the demonstrators. Thank God the police officer he slapped several times didn't respond. He is not above the law. He should be arrested and prosecuted. Mohammed sent this one in from the Gambia. Thank you, Mohammed, for watching us from the Gambia. Good morning to you, KOD. In fact, to tell you the truth, I can't think far when it comes to the character and behavior of these Buzia Dankwa Dombo defendants. Their only interest is in taking power is to steal the nation's resources. kill if possible, take over the judiciary to protect them from the law. This is the reason why they are fighting for Tokono, who is part of the syndicate. George in Ablekuma. You know, there's a quote by Frederick Bastiat, who said that where plunder becomes to paraphrase, where plunder becomes the way of life, yes, the way of life of a particular group of people, they create a legal system that supports it and a culture that endorses it. So maybe they created a legal system to support the plunder. Yes. Good morning to you all. All the actions of MPP people about suspension of CJ clearly show that they have an agenda, and that is for her to protect the corrupt officials from going to jail. That is all the noise they are making about. Aaron Shukra from Owusu-Ansa, Oyarefa. Thank you. Good morning to you, Lawyer KOD. Today, you and Alhaji Mazouk. Hey, no, that was yesterday. Sorry. Good morning to you, Lawyer KOD. NDC is democracy, and democracy is NDC. Yesterday, some group of people were able to march peacefully through the streets of Accra to the Flagstaff House without any let or hindrance and arrests. The earlier we control that little man, Afenyo, the better. He's crossing the line now by hitting a uniformed police officer, Bibi, from Osuku. Oral must work. Hashtag. Yes, so the oral must work demonstration, I think a lot of people have expressed interest, including MPP, NDC members, that they are saying that the oral must work. If oral was to be working, people will not get the luxury and the liberty to be embarking on demonstrations. Good morning to you, Kwame. Why is the minority so concerned about the removal of the CJ? Is it that she was helping them from the for the current government to uncover some rot? Shame to the MPP from my reckless inside Tamale. Hashtag oral must work. Good morning to you, KOD. As for MPP, listening to them is a total waste of time. Some are going around apologizing to Ghanaians, and others are still doing the very things that sends them into opposition. The least to talk about them, the better. I rather enjoy Indian movies than listening to MPP. They aren't more Ghanaians. Kindly remind them about their threats before the election. They can't make this country ungovernable. Rawa from Navrongo. Hashtag oral must work. Yes, oral must work. The more will be hitting the country very soon. Good morning to Champion KOD. What is going on at EC? Are they not going to pay us our money? Elias from Tamale Central. This one says, hello KOD, we are watching. Where is it? Hello KOD. Why are we reacting as if President Mahama hasn't gotten the capacity to make a sound decision in executing his discretion within the confines of the law, and deliberately ignoring the fact that President has a host of legal luminaries at his disposal, including the AG to guide him. Abdul Aziz from Accra sent in this one. In Ghana, hey, this one is an issue. In Ghana, the laws are amended by Parliament. The Parliament of Ghana has the power to make, amend, and repeal laws. Members of Parliament propose, debate, and vote on bills, which when passed become laws. All right, thank you. Don't know what this is in relation to, but thank you very much. This is Engineer Ishmael Abubakar. My view on the so-called protest is that it's totally needless. The micro-minority leader, Afenyomakins, exhibited his what Afenyomakin exhibited is totally disdainful. Afenyo must be arrested and prosecuted. Charlie, if you fall foul with the law there, I support you. Okay, so they've shared a video of Afenyomakin slapping a police officer to me. This is unbelievable. Bless, if you have the video, please show it. Share, play the video. I'm sure you'll find it. Good morning to you, sir. It's good to have code of conduct for government officials, but starving officials for months is too harsh and draconian. Even for condemned criminals, after taking all their salaries, how do you expect them to feed their families? JM must tamper justice with mercy, just as God did for the prodigal son. For fitting 1 month pay is enough. I love your diplomatic outfit. Let me have some for my lectures. No problem. I'm there for you. Anytime. Good morning, sir. It's good to have a code. Oh, I think I've read this one. Ken, I've read your message already. KOD, I must commend the police for the good work they did yesterday amidst the intimidations to the extent of one of their own being slapped, I believe it would be in the interest of the suspended Chief Justice to call the MPP to order, to halt further worsening of a situation, whilst the one who slapped the policeman be brought to book. Mesa from Spintex Road. Majority of MPP politicians don't understand checks and balances. Any public official can be removed from office, including the president. The Chief Justice is not above the law. And certainly not above the Constitution. By the way, we took on an lecturing Speaker Babin 6 months ago. Didn't the CJ give a biased ruling on Sal and Ascent North? They should give us a break. Kweku from La Paz sent in this one. This one is from Koblavi Benghazi in Pokwase. Says the MPP minority caucus should blame former President Akufo-Addo for setting bad example by sacking former Electoral Commissioner Mame Charlotte Osei. They should demonstrate against President Akufo-Addo for setting bad precedent. President Mahama learned how to sack top government of appointees from President Akufo-Addo. No amount of demonstration would stop President Mahama from sacking the Chief Justice. Okay. Good morning to Pan-African Television. I speak health to you, host, and your guest. Look, we've come a long way as a nation where certain things are taken for granted. If the law states that a Chief Justice can be removed by the law, then so must it be. Let's not leave any stone unturned. This one also said the CJ must go to avoid 5-0. I don't know. Okay. Good morning to Pan-African Television. I'm Nasigri Basani from Babalo, So, Mampugu, Mwaduri District Northeast Region. Forgive me. The GBA should focus on how my mother district, Mampugu, Mwaduri District Northeastern Region, will get a court for interpretation of the law and justice delivery. The police at the said district have been attending court at Wale Wale. All right, thank you. Teacher Gonja, okay, you are the one who sent the earlier message. Now, this one also says, good morning to Kwame. Afenema Ken is not above the law. He must be arrested from Dada Cash inside KJB. I'll be coming to Uti region very soon. Yeah. Good morning to you, KOD. Do you know that if you are a lawyer, but not an MPP lawyer from the law school, they won't classify you as a properly qualified lawyer? George Indebugri from where? Hey, George, you sure? How can they do that? Yes. Good morning to you. One of the best TV stations, Pan-African TV. The MPP demonstration is much ado about nothing. One of Shakespeare's comedies. They went there to hunt the knight. What is the procedural error of the president? The president had followed due process and the legal application. The demonstration was shambolic, useless, frivolous, disarrayed, and fruitless. Greetings to Honorable Alex Sebefia, Chile of the staff, or to the Chief of Staff, to the Vice President, and Honorable Amanda Ochi, Deputy Director of Logistics and Protocol. Joel Yemi Blay, Axim, Upper Town. Thank you, Joel, for your message this morning. And the messages are pouring in. I don't know whether we should cede the rest of the time to the viewers to make a call. Would you agree with me to open the phone lines so that the viewers can also contribute? So, viewers.
At your discretion.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. So let's activate the phone lines now for the viewers to also contribute to the conversation. The phone lines will be posted on the screens right now so that you can also join in the conversation. But before then, let me read a few messages here. This one says, oh, where is it? Okay, this one says, good morning to you. Afenimaki is only fighting to protect the uncle's wife, the Chief Justice Tokonu from Toro inside Lashibi. This one says, hello KOD. When is Operation Oral Must Work Demo Convention? Abdulaziz. Okay, so we are still in the preparatory stage, and as I told you, I'm going to give a number out. I'll do that on Friday. I'll give a number out.
Operation
so
what?
Oral Must Work Demo.
It will work.
No, it will work, but we want to make sure that it works, because see, if oral were to be working, people will not have time to go for demonstrations.
It will work.
So hashtag
we don't want to send the impression out that oral is either not working.
Or we want to encourage the government to expedite
working at the pace that we want it to do. Or we are bringing undue pressure to bear on government. The law will take its own course, and some of them have started. The former chief executive of the National Sinners Bureau. He's been charged. As we speak, he's been remanded in custody for 7 working days. It is part of the aura. So aura would work. We should not be seen to be putting undue pressure on President Mahama and the government to do what we know they are doing already. Unless, of course, you also want to exercise and burn some calories like they did yesterday. Unless you also want to burn some calories like they did yesterday.
Oral must work.
In fact, it is working.
The call number is 0302-791-326. 0302-791-326. Phone lines activated. We have my brothers and sisters who are watching us this morning. You have just about 10 minutes to make your calls, and so if you can respectfully do that. But before then, let's discuss the code of conduct. I think you found a way of touching on it.
I think that's the elephant in the room.
The elephant in the code of conduct.
That's the
Honorable. Let me start with the code of conduct. But the phone lines are activated. You can call.
The code of conduct was launched yesterday because one of the things that President Mahama and the NDC promised to do if we want power, and we did want power. We want power, and so we've launched the code of conduct. I'm yet to see the document to read, even though we've all had some snipers of the content of the
code of conduct.
The code of conduct, but I'm yet to see the full content of it. Things like public officials or government appointees not buying public properties is a good place. We saw how it was abused in the last 8 years, how government appointees were virtually looting every available space in Accra and the regional capitals. And so it is a welcoming news. It would enrich our governance landscape. It would imbibe some confidence into our democracy. The recent Afrobarometer report would indicate that confidence in democracy is winning down, and to see any attempt that would re-establish a democracy as our preferred form of governance is important. And so for me, I'm all for it. So I can't speak much to it because I haven't seen the full content, but I think that we have lived our pledge of having a code of conduct that would enrich our governance system. And very close to that, very tight to that one, is the Mahama Care that was launched, and government appointees have been asked to look. Even before I get to Mahama Care, as part of the code of conduct, appointees who have not filed their assets declaration, we are told they will lose their salary for this month, and if by Wednesday, that's tomorrow, when President Mahama and the NDC would have chalked the 120 days, if by tomorrow you still don't declare your asset as required by law, President Mahama says that automatically consider yourself dismissed. We are aware of ministers under Akufo-Addo who never declared their assets. Today, even deputy CEOs, we are told that if you don't declare, consider yourself dismissed by end of day tomorrow. That should tell you of the new sheriff in town, the new dawn of good governance.
Thank you very much. Good morning to KOD. Keep the fire blazing. KOD, Father, I need to talk to you in private. Thank you. Ooh, okay. You won't give me money?
Maybe you're getting an appointment.
Appointment. Charlie. Hello, good morning. Hello?
It's not everything is willing. It's not everything is willing that Ghana. It's anything is willing. So what happened yesterday is not fair, so you have to arrest him. Hello.
Hello, good morning. What's your name? Where are you calling me from?
My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Plateau number 1.
Okay, go ahead.
Yesterday, Afanyo Market has done his not fair, so they should arrest him.
Thank you. Next caller, please. Okay, so, right. This one says, hello, Kwame. The minority leader is using the MPP members to gather political points for his selfish ambition. A leader must be able to control his anger. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
May I know your name and where you're calling me from?
I am from
Takwa, please go ahead.
What the minority are doing is like they don't know, they don't have shame. Because what went on in the last 8 years, they couldn't see anything bad with it. But when President Mama is exercising his constitutional rights, and this is not even constitutional rights, and something that the Constitution has laid down is a procedure in the following. So, NCP started themselves being lawyers and then the legal brains. What is that legal brains? And what is their motive of putting this? Do they want to sell themselves, or have they forgotten? Do they think that Ghanaians have forgotten the men that they have created? Thank you very much.
I'm most grateful to you, and I thank you for being very snappy with your position. Hello, Kwame. The minority leader is using the MPP members to gather political points for his selfish ambition. A leader must be able to control his anger over his emotions from mic records. Thank you very much. This one also says, okay, all right. Good morning to you, Kwame, and your panelists. Do you know why Afenyomakin is championing the demonstration? The reason is that he took the issue of majority and minority to the Supreme Court, and the Chief Justice ruled on their behalf. Good morning.
Good morning.
May I know your name and where you're calling me from, sir?
Usman, calling from Takrade.
Calling from?
Takrade.
Oh, Takrade. If you're Kumawaya, say.
Yeah, Masa.
Oshaya.
Oh, Oshaya.
Olukodo. Let's proceed.
Go
ahead. Did I lose him? Oh no. Please call me back. If you call me back. The reason is that he took the issue of majority and minority to... Hello, good morning. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, yourself.
Ah, well, we're managing. Your name, where are you calling me from?
Okay, my name is Douglas. I'm calling from assignment.
Please go ahead.
Okay, I would like to say, is NPP thinking right? Like the members of the NPP. When they were removing the EC, NDC never complained. Why are they now organizing demonstrations against Mahama? The good people of Ghana voted for Mahama to reset Ghana. I just want them to leave whatever they are doing and concentrate on resetting Ghana. They should forget about Afenyomakin. Whatever he's doing, will not watch. Thank you.
Most grateful to you. Thank you very much. And thank you for calling in. Next caller, please. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Bonjour.
Bonjour, monsieur.
Comment ça va?
Please, I can't speak.
I know. Now, let me crack. I'm in TV Kobe. Let me know your name and where you're calling me from.
My name is Victor. I'm calling from
So, Swedro. Oh, Swedro. Okay. Please, let's proceed.
I want to share my thoughts on the discussion on program.
Go ahead.
Please, I have never been to even the university, but I know that the law that we are doing is very clear. This demonstration that these MPP people are going shows that not every lawyer has a skill with the intellectual to be a lawyer, because common sense is that the president has just done the needed work. And if the Chief Justice is being removed, does that mean the judiciary has been collapsed?
Yeah.
It will be if someone is the head of an institution, that alone should be enough. So on popping crowd, that person should be prosecuted, because your position doesn't permit you to do wrong. Because you are there to judge people who do wrong.
Right.
Why then do you have to do wrong? And that's the government, the president is doing what he has to do. And not a opposition party that contains lawyers who call themselves lawyers going against the constitution. Something should be done about this. Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. If Afenyomakin is not arrested, then it means the law is not working in Ghana. I agree with you on that. Hello, good morning. Good morning. Hello. Okay. Messages. Good morning.
Good morning.
May I know your name and where you're calling me from, please?
I'm Suleiman Abubakar, a.k.a. Chief Farmer.
Oh, my brother.
I'm calling from Tabugu.
Thank you. Thank you.
Suleiman Abubakar.
Yeah, lower the volume on your TV. Lower the volume. Lower the volume. So we can talk, Suleimana.
What they are doing, they are just...
No, he will come back. He's listening to himself.
Yeah.
Suleimana. Hello, are you there? Oh. Hello? Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. May I know your name and where you're calling me from?
I'm calling from Wa. My name is Mubarak.
You're calling from where? Wa?
Wa.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Yeah. You see, I'm beginning to have a problem with NDC. They are being so charitable to these MPP guys. And they always want to make Ghana look like it is for them. Any other person is just a squatter, or you are from somewhere and you came to Ghana. They need to be handled blow by blow, pound to pound. Yesterday, you did a demonstration. You were allowed to go to the Flagstaff House to present your petition. Yes, but you said it was a security zone. NDC should have let them go and meet them at Medina overhead. They should have go and meet them there with the petition. They should have allowed them to come to the Flagstaff House. This Flagstaff House was a security zone yesterday. It will continue to be a security zone today too. But my brother, I support your demonstration. I mean, I will come to Accra.
Thank you.
We will mobilize and come.
Thank you.
Oral must work. If Oral was working, Apanyoma can go, will not even dare go out to go to a demonstration.
Thank you.
They all have issues to answer for. Thank you very much.
Hashtag.
I'm 100% behind your demonstration.
Hashtag Oral must work.
Oral must work.
Hashtag Oral must work. And that demo will happen.
It will happen live. We are coming.
I'm sure we'll do it by next week. We have to. Oh, yes. We are mobilizing. Giddy. Oral must work. Honorable even will come. Honorable will come. He will join us.
I have a different opinion.
Yes.
Honorable, you will join us. It must work. Okay. Last two calls and then we get out of here. Have you spoken on the code of conduct?
No. I think as I told you, that's the elephant in the room, and you are avoiding it.
You know. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Khadija Hash. I'm calling from Kumasi.
Oh, okay. Please go ahead.
I just want to say a big thank you to you. But what Afenyo Makin did yesterday wasn't good at all. He must be charged or do something to him, because it's not that's what he did. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Well, so briefly,
okay.
Is there elephant? Maybe we should have one-on-one on that.
Yeah. Thank you very much. I think Honorable said a lot about it already, and that the president has delivered what he promised in the manifesto.
Hello. Hi.
Good
morning.
Morning. Very well. Good morning.
Good morning. May I know your name and where you're calling from?
I'm James from Agona.
Okay. Agona Sabah or Agona Swedro?
Agona Mampo.
Okay. Go ahead.
Abusia, the woman is a Okrama Okovianam. What question baby a tight? Who said, oh, Pua? When you said you will never be a far, what the anti-money every winner. The Baya will be your power so. Obey post of your clients who will be your house or who are on Okro. It was himself who be gone. I began with Casanumina, the only in when you say Asamato, Chrono, looting in our count, over the Tika the Omudibi. So, more when you say Asamobeto, a job deal, we will have a fine. That's
it. Let me shout so afraid. Why? Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, thank you, Bobby. I think the code of conduct, I would say that it was part of the manifesto, and also part of the social contract for the 120 days. So I was looking up to that, and thankfully, when I read that it was being launched yesterday, I was quite happy. So I would say that the president has delivered as promised, but then and that this will go a long way in containing the self-interest that I talked about. Yep. However, there was a Conduct of Public Officers Bill 2022, which was more comprehensive. And I've always wondered why the president hasn't talked about the enactment of that bill, or even the revision of that bill and enacting that into law, because that covers asset declaration as well as the code of conduct and then the conflict of interest. So we don't know yet if this is the initial step that the president is taking, and as part of the constitutional review, we are going to look at our asset declaration regime. Otherwise, we would have to ask the president or find out from the party, maybe Honorable is here, what is the next move on that law? Because with the code of conduct alone, we cannot solve the problem. But even though it's a step in the right direction, which if most presidents had done that, we wouldn't have been in our current situation. But then that code of conduct of public officers bill would have been more comprehensive.
If I get you right, you think that it should be codified?
Yes. No. This one is just dealing with an aspect of the problem.
We should have one that is codified, which governs the...
Yes, and it's more comprehensive, covers the chapter 24 in
we
total.
Haven't seen the full content of it yet. We don't know how expansive it is, or how shallow, how deep it is. But I agree with you that we should be looking at codifying some of these things to be more binding.
Yes.
But for me, it's not even just about whether it is a policy or law. It's about the political will to drive the process.
Exactly.
You just talked about code of public officers bill or whatever.
Yes.
But can you imagine that this MPP SY regime were pushing for a public officers bill?
They did not. The cabinet did not pass it for parliament.
Because they could not have passed even 1/10 of it. Asset. Ministers didn't declare their assets. They were on a spree of looting. They were on a spree of looting. They didn't have the moral right to even attempt doing something of that sort. So it's a person. Is a person who drives, who's in the driving seat. His moral attitude, his commitment to the values of a democracy. Akufo-Addo and MPP could not have attempted something of that sort.
Thank you.
But then Honorable, the argument was not on the codification. As I said, the chapter 24. We are looking at three aspects. First, the asset declaration, and then you have the code of conduct, and then conflict of interest. So the law, that the bill dealt with the three. Now, this code of conduct is dealing with 1 out of 3.
Which is the asset declaration.
No, the asset declaration is actually embedded.
The asset declaration is embedded in the conduct of public officers bill. But then my question is whether after this, the president or the party is going to look at the other areas. For example, yesterday he talked about the asset declaration, and even that already he solved 1 out of about 5 problems. The first is making the officials declare and then punishing them, even whether that is constitutional or not, because the Constitution says that it should go through the commissioner of Human Rights and Justice. So if the president can...
this one, the president has a right to appoint and disappoint.
Yes,
He says that if you don't declare your assets, I will disappoint you.
Yes.
I will do your appointment.
But then the
that one is administrative.
Yes, and the remuneration. So if the president can enforce that, that is excellent.
You can trust, you can trust.
And then also, whatever has been said about the asset declaration, like I said, it's just one. Now, the asset declaration that was filed, how authentic is it? Because at the moment, the Auditor General is not allowed to open it. The Conduct of Public Officers Bill was going to empower the Auditor General to open it and also publish.
That borders on review of the Constitution.
So that is what that's my question. Is the constitutional review going to address that aspect?
But what most Ghanaians don't also know, if you read the 1992 Constitution, the provision that talks about the asset declaration, it is not limited to only the political class.
No, but that is my question.
It's not limited to the political
this
class.
code of conduct.
Look, it encapsulates almost every policy.
Yes, and that exactly. So that is my argument. So the code of conduct now, as the government, the president has launched, is for his appointees, as he said.
Yes.
So what about the rest, as you're saying? Well, how are we going to address that one? Is a bill going to be introduced by the...
If you're a finance officer, finance director, procurement officer, they are all enjoined by law to declare their assets. Whilst we cry so much about political corruption, what public servants and civil servants can also do, you have no idea. We have worked as public servants before, even though we are also engaged in active politicking.
So the question is...
it's an ongoing journey.
So it's a good step.
We have a man who is a president that we all can trust. His track record, his demeanor speaks to it. And let's see. I mean, I'm saying that those who did not declare their assets as of yesterday
are rushing to do so.
Yes.
Yes, they have to.
Even yesterday.
Yes.
At the close of work yesterday, Monday, if you do not declare your asset, you are losing your salary for this month. Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
And those who not declare by today being the
deadline.
Tomorrow is
7th is the deadline.
7th.
Yes.
Before
7th or
the 7th.
So if I heard President Mahama right,
I
stand for correction though. He says that at the expiration of, you see, some appointments.
It was the first May.
So for instance, if you are appointed last week, the standard of measure cannot be the same as somebody who was appointed
I agree with you.
in February or January.
I agree with you.
No, the says that. The 120 days, I think, is tomorrow.
Expiration is tomorrow, But so for those who are within that 120 days, okay, I get your point.
If you didn't declare your asset,
I get your point.
By yesterday when you were speaking, you are losing your 1 month salary.
I get your point.
And if by
I get your point.
By tomorrow, you still don't declare.
That one, the mafia.
That one, you are
3 months.
I get your point. Let's run away. Honorable, thank you. Honorable Abdulaziz, former Pimion constituency. Great to have you this morning. Doc Valente, thank you very much. To the viewers, I adore all of you. Thank you for your time this morning on the morning show. My name is Kwame Usudan. So I'll see you tomorrow. Have a nice day. Thanks a lot.
Truly African.
Good evening and a warm welcome to the program. This is Hot News from